right, and we're live.
Nice. Welcome everyone, and welcome to the final hangout of the Technology Entrepreneurship Part 2. So for those who don't know, it's an online program from Stanford, and it's hosted on the platform NovoEd, and it's made by the assistant professor Chuck Eesley, who will come later, and assisted by Spike Morelli, and me and Dayan. So basically, it's a group and project-driven online course, what is called a MOOC. So all the learners have to cover the different steps of a startup creation, from the team building to actually trying to raise some funds in front of investor. And they're doing this by groups and by doing concrete assignments every week. So it's a 3-month program, open to everyone, free. You are welcome to join. We are actually hosting the next session in a few days. And we are gathered here with 5 teams behind the 5 most popular last assignment. It's basically an investor deck. So a deck with all the necessary information to convince an investor to actually put some money in the project. So it's covering most of the aspects, like the mock-up, prototype, business model, the people in the team. And we wanted to create this event as a culmination of this 3-month program for all this team deemed as the best from their peers to be able to pitch in front of you, because we think it may be an insightful experience for you, and also for them to have good advice from the staff, from Paulo, my mentor, is here, and also from an investor. So we are pleased to be joined by Naguib. He's a co-founder of MathCrunch, and he will assist us in providing you some feedback. So the basic organization of the session, it's 5 teams. Each team will have 5 minutes to pitch using whatever format they want. So video, raw with only the voice, or it can be like a slide, and then it will be followed with 10 minutes of Q&A. So we'll have some comments, we'll have some questions, and each team will have 10 minutes to answer. So this is the basic rule, and I'll let Spike introduce himself, and also Paulo and Naguib, and having some main advice for you guys before we can kick off the thing. And it's a real pleasure for us to organize this, and we hope we'll have some fun and insightful experience.
Thank you for having us.
Naguib, the floor to you, please. Go ahead. Thank you, Yoni, for your wonderful French accent.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you. So I'm an investor so far as I've made 24 angel investments in startups, but I'm still very young and I'm early side of my career, so I'm still learning. So that's just to manage expectations. I was born and raised in Egypt, went to Stanford, where I studied industrial engineering. I designed my own engineering degree. 3 years into it, I didn't want to keep studying, wanted to start working on a company, very classic story. Dropped out, started my first company, which was a marketplace in the e-commerce space. Unfortunately, we couldn't find product market fit 9 months into it, so the company pivoted into it's a big pivot into education, and that's how MathCrunch was born. It's also a marketplace, but instead of connecting, homeowners with grocery runners, we connect students with tutors over their smartphones. And I see that Cherry Club is also a marketplace, so I'm excited to learn more.
Cool, thank you very much. Paulo, if you want to introduce yourself, that'd be great. Paulo, you're muted.
Paulo?
Paulo, you're muted. Yeah. Nope. Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Hi.
Yeah.
Here it goes. Okay, I've been mentoring for technology entrepreneurship for quite a while. I have run 4 startups, mostly on the edtech side. I have did work for the government, including DARPA. Currently, I'm considering launching an incubator, and I really look forward to the pitch of these 5 teams, these great 5 teams. Thank you.
All right, and we actually have Chuck on online, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Yes. Chuck, the floor is to you, please.
Great. Hi there, everyone. Congratulations to the top 5 teams, and thank you very much to Yoni and to Spike for helping to coordinate. And I also want to thank all of the mentors who have given so much of their time, both to this class and to the previous classes. Welcome, everyone. I'll keep my comments short because I want to give as much time as we can for the teams and for giving them some helpful feedback. But I just want to thank everyone for participating, and this is very exciting for me.
Awesome. Thanks, Chuck.
All right, I think we can get started. So I'll leave the floor to Share Club, and Roman, if you want to get going with the pitch, please.
Okay, do you see my slides? No?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Then thank you everybody for the course, for the work you are doing, and a special thanks for our mentors and classmates. We are Share Club, marketplace for renting anything from anybody. So we are solving following problems, and people need urgent some expensive good, but they cannot buy it, and then when they are looking for such goods, it takes a lot of time. So on the other hand, people buy things they need only a few times and then do not use it. So we are proposing to bring such people together, people who want to earn money by renting out their stuff, and people who want to save money by borrowing. Yes. So we consider to operate worldwide, starting in Ukraine, Eastern Europe, and then in USA. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers, target market of sharing economy in 2015 was 15 according to PricewaterhouseCoopers, target market sharing. Could I have? Sorry?
Please go ahead, Roman.
Okay, and this market of sharing economy will be in 2025 $335 billion. It's a huge number, right? So our this market. I do not hear you, sorry. Hello?
I think Dee was just Dee just unmuted herself and you got echo. Please continue. Please stay muted if you're not talking.
Oh, sorry. Our target market share actually is 2%. So our revenue model is simple. We will charge 20% fee from lenders on each transactions. So we've made some research, and we will differentiate a little bit different as other marketplaces and such services. There are a lot of in the world, and we will have real feedback in rating system. All items will be insured. We will deliver both sides, and we will have loyalty system, and we will help this content to make a content with professional photos for premium items. I mean, with the high margin. So to reach this target market share, we will use following sales channel, like a website, our website, PR, AdWords, and ads in Facebook. So our main partners, some of them we talked already, are following. There are rental companies, insurance companies, delivery companies, and payment companies. So thank you to our mentors for mentoring and advising, Paulo, Alan, and Marius. Our team is myself, Daria Yarmolenko, our Chief Marketing Officer, and Yanis, our CTO. So thank you very much, and we are ready to answer your question.
Thank you for staying within your time, Roman. Much appreciated. And please, Naguib, if you want to take it from here, that'd be great.
So can we just jump?
Yeah.
And ask questions?
You can jump. Yeah, let's go.
So when you think of your, marketplace, what sort of specific vertical of items do you think would be the ones that you see most exchanges taking on, when you first start off Sherry Club?
So, first of all, we will work with high margin items like sports goods, for example, professional bikes, snowboards, kayaks, rakes, like sports goods, for example, professional bikes, snowboards, kayaks, rakes, like sports goods, for example. So have you answered your question?
Yeah, you answered my question. Just to make sure I understood you correctly, you're saying that the first sort of equipment you see being shared a lot will be sports goods like golf clubs, bikes, special bats. Did I understand you clearly?
Yes, and we considering goods extremely expensive goods.
Yeah.
For example, people would like to try snowboarding with a good snowboard and so on.
So just exchanging notes here and thinking out loud, one of the things that we saw when we were building our marketplace was that it made lots of sense to focus on one very specific vertical before we decided to expand to many. Because one of the things you'll keep hearing as feedback is focus, 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 focus. And if you try to do lots of different verticals at the same time, when you're hitting, moms are coming on your website, and then you have, 26-year-old bachelors coming onto your website, it really makes it hard to find marketplace liquidity. So just an idea, it sometimes makes sense to just focus on one very, small vertical, even though we know that we want to expand beyond that. For Sherry Club, maybe sports would be, you'd be the premier sharing economy for sporting goods, building up a base and then thinking about expanding beyond that.
Okay. Thank you for your advice.
It's just exchanging notes.
Yes, I understand that we should choose some categories of items first and verify our hypothesis. To choose some segments, for example, the sport goods and so on, and then develop further.
Yeah. Because also when you go to do distribution and you're reaching out to PR, reaching out to SEO, all of that, then you already have 300 keywords you're trying to own. 25 blocks you're trying to own. It just makes everything significantly more narrow so that it gives you an increased likelihood of outperforming others.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Paulo and Chuck, do you have something to say also about the presentation?
Yeah, I completely agree about narrowing down the focus into a specific market. And I think it'd be good to incorporate more interview data from actual customers to understand what kinds of products specifically they're having trouble renting currently. Because I could imagine for bicycles, at least here around Stanford, there's probably 10 different bike shops that you can rent a bike from for the day, for the weekend. There is a company called Spinlister that allows you to rent a bike from an individual.
Yeah.
And so they seem to be doing all right. I don't know exactly what their financials are, but again, that's a case where they've completely specialized on the bicycle rental market. And worked out everything in terms of the insurance and logistics and so on around just doing that one narrow vertical. So I was looking to hear a bit more. I know it's a short presentation, but I was looking to hear the customer's voice come to life a little bit more in terms of what the problem was that they were experiencing and why they couldn't rent these items from more traditional shops.
So actually, we made we verified some hypotheses. We made some AdWords campaign, and what we understood that people not really want to rent out their expensive stuff, and it's for us I would say the biggest issue. But on the other hand, we verified another hypothesis. We talked to about 20 rental companies, and actually I would say 30% of them are ready to collaborate with us. Actually, we're considering to be, of course, we have to verify this hypothesis, but we considering be not only P2P marketplace, but B2B2C, So, but you're right. We've seen Spinlister. It's a good example. Thank you. So thank you.
Hey, Paul, you have one last word of feedback? We just have like 1 minute. Do you have any last thoughts?
Okay, just I would like to hear from Roman. Which markets appear the most promising? Besides. Hello?
Roman, you're muted.
Do you mean markets like country, or you mean markets as a segment?
Segment.
Segment.
Yeah, you mentioned that there were several companies that rent goods that would like to partner with you. Which areas are these companies in? Are they in sports goods or other segments?
Well, if to speak about Ukraine, because our test market will be Ukraine, we have two directions: sport, for sure, and the second one, the equipment for households, something like this. This is what we have already. and also renting some clothes, like for specialist reasons. This sort. This is what we have, but we can say this is the most promising categories. Just this that will exist in the market. It doesn't mean that if we will promote some new segment, it can work much more successfully. You know what I mean? Just people don't know, they can also accept for what is proposed in the market now. Or you want to hear the answer in concrete figures? We're not ready actually with figures, just the market share.
I am sorry, but time is up. So we have to move on to Mim. You're welcome to continue this course on this conversation on Slack or on the forum.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, bye-bye.
Thank you. Good luck, guys. Feel free, by the way, want to reach out to me on LinkedIn and just exchange notes on marketplaces. I'm more than glad to do that.
Great. Thank you.
All right, Mim, you're up. Sandra?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead with your presentation.
Okay. The one who will be presenting will be Tad. Tad, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you please start presentation?
I cannot see any presentation yet.
Can you see the slides? Can you view the slides now?
Not yet. They might be loading right now. I still don't see any slides.
We don't have to go back to Hangout, do we? We just carry on here.
Yes.
You're in the right place, but the slides are unloading, and unfortunately the clock is ticking.
You click the screen share tab. I will click it for you.
Right.
Can I click
Thank
it
you.
for you?
Okay.
Yep.
Can you see?
Okay. We got the presentation. Please go ahead. 4 minutes.
You can talk, and I will show the presentation. Can you please? Tad? I will present.
Please go ahead.
Well, MiMoney is about having an application that addresses the mismatch of social corporate sector and companies. And here you can see that this is gamified so that the problem, solving the problem of mismatch of aspirations will be provided by MiMoney. Here you will see that there was a memory game, evergreen memory game that focused on the children, and we will use it to target customer segments who are in the using the brand or avatars of these companies, repositioning the memory games. So we will use tokens.
Sandra, can you see the slide? Can you see the slide now?
No. I'm presenting already, Thad.
Okay.
Okay. Here the business opportunities because will be focused on Malaysia, because here usually the average CSR fund is only $6,000 and the high impact programs require around $48,000, and there's a problem with getting that shortfall of $42,000. So MiMoney is focusing on solving that problem by using gamification so that social enterprises will be able to get support from these companies, and we will provide the value proposition for these companies by using enhanced CSR 3.0 model So we will be able to provide free advertisement through use of social these memory games by showing the avatars of these companies, and also using internet or fundraising application, and using this kind of products here, gamified CSR 3.0 enhanced elements for profit motive and fundraising apps, so that we will be able to reach more customer for these companies. In return, they will have to support social enterprises for the causes they are interested. And will move to Deepak. Deepak, are you there? So we'll
Yeah,
be
yes,
able
I'm
to
here.
show
Okay.
Yes,
So
hello everybody.
there are blacks just now.
Thad. Thad, please let Deepak
Yes.
talk.
Okay, I will press on the significant part of this project, wherein companies will contribute to CSR and will benefit from it. So in the first presentation, we can see the CSR spendings in Malaysia, which is right now, which is at 6,000 US dollar on average, whereas for high impact programs, it is 13 times more at 48,000 US dollars. We all know social and economic initiatives and the responsibility of the companies are gaining popularity internationally. So as we see, European and other countries, they all are coming forward and taking initiative of founding the companies in a way to come forward and take their social responsibility. So what we see now with MiMoney, companies can promote the cause they support, and they get their brand advertisement, and they get their brand promotion and contribute to CSR alongside. What a catch, isn't it? So as we see in this next slide, we can see CSR in India. The New Companies Act has made it mandatory for the companies to contribute to CSR, and we can see in the graphic below that any company, the companies making a net profit of more than 50 million Indian rupees is to part 2% of that for CSR. And in this graphics, we can see the breakup of CSR spend of Indian companies.
You're out of time. All right. You guys are over your 5 minutes.
Okay.
So we're opening, thank you for your presentation. And we're opening the ground. I know this is ruthless, but this is what you're going to get if you're going to actually pitch somebody. If you go into a pitch competition, you're going to get 5 minutes allocated to you, and that's it. They're going to cut you off. So this is a good way of training. Please go ahead, Naguib.
Yeah, so I think it's very important to decouple the big problem you're solving from the small problems you're solving. And I would like to understand from the individual consumer standpoint what problem you're solving for them to engage in the game.
Can I answer?
Yes, please go ahead, Sandra.
From individual standpoint, in a way, they will be able to support by buying these games, support social enterprises in a way, because and they will also be presented with brands that they are interested in, because it will be marketed to them. These brands are those brands that support social enterprises in a way. When they buy these games, indirectly they are supporting also these social enterprises.
So just to phrase it in terms of a problem, your assumption is that the problem with the consumers, that they want to follow the brands they like, and they want to be socially responsible, but they can't, and giving them a game lets them do that.
Yes.
One thing one thing that I learned when I started off, and this is something that's very hard to hear as an entrepreneur, but 99% of the time, people just don't care. And that's the biggest thing that you're fighting for. You're fighting for people to care to begin with. And in many cases, people try to solve problems that they think people care about when they in fact don't care about these problems. So one of the biggest assumptions any entrepreneur does when he goes to solve a problem is assuming that the problem is big enough that the solution is one that will resonate. That's maybe one thing that you guys can think about. And then just another point of advice, there are so many things that matter in building a company, but that's like stage one. Like there's lots of stages to building a company. I would put all of your attention in the first stage, the hook, which in your case is what will get consumers involved. Because if you don't solve that, everything that's built on top of it doesn't matter. So that's just my thoughts on that subject.
Chuck, Paulo, do you have some comments?
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to focus more on the slide presentation. The slides, the first slide especially, had way too much text. It's much easier to follow what you are saying if the slides are more like just illustration of what you are saying. So once you have lots of text, what we automatically try to do is try to read the text while you guys are telling us a story, and we get lost. Second side, the second slide, the slide number 2, your list, the text is really very small, and it makes it very hard to read. It's all packed up. It's not useful at all. What you need is to get big text with 30-point font, and you have just a few bullets to illustrate the story that you are telling us verbally.
So good, I wanted to second Paulo's point. A good exercise is to just assume you're pitching to a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old, just very, very basic, and then set that as the minimum viable, presentation. Because in many cases, investors, they want to stare on their smartphones. They're thinking about their wives. They're just not focused on you. So you really want to spoon feed them all of the information as if they're just kids.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chuck, would you like to add anything? We have a few more minutes.
I would just reiterate these were exactly my comments. First of all, focusing on what problem you're solving for the consumer, and if you can offer a compelling game and get people to actually come to the site, then that's great. There's lots of things you could do afterwards in terms of once you're generating money, donating 10% or whatever of that money to CSR. Could be a great marketing angle, but if you can't develop a compelling enough game and actually get people to come to the site and play the game, then you can't go any further after that. And then I had the exact same presentation comment. What we often say is you should have fewer than 20 words on each slide and no smaller than 20-point font. So those would be the two areas I'd focus. Really try to understand. If you really want to create online games, then you've got to really understand that online gaming industry and how to market and how to get people to actually come and play the game. That's got to be the total focus in the beginning, and then the presentation needs a lot of polishing in terms of smoother transitions and much simpler slides with much less text.
Got that, Chuck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Yoni, did you have some thoughts as well, I think?
Yeah, just a little technicalities, but I think it's important for everyone doing this kind of exercise. If you are pitching with several people, try to do the orchestration, like who is talking first, who is like explaining this slide, this other slide. Try to prepare this kind of thing to avoid the little hiccups we had at the beginning. I think it's important. The second point, I think corporate social responsibility is an interesting topic, but there's a lot of studies about that, like actually scientists, like sociologists, saying that it's basically a way for companies to do some kind of whitewashing or thing like that. So do you have like some kind of reflection about that? Do you feel CSR is it's something you can play around, it's something actually impactful? And
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone.
yeah, it was actually a question. Do you feel the CSR can have a positive impact in companies, and compared to what we can read, for example, in many articles, that the impact of CSR is neutral or even negative, or do you have some thinking about this?
Yes, it has not been good presently. Because people are thinking that CSR is just a PR exercise.
Exactly.
They are not embracing impact. But we intend to change that by creating CSR 3.0. That's the whole idea. CSR 3.0 will have the companies making money out of a sort of investment with social enterprises on the site. That's the whole idea.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I think we're good and just about on time. So thank you very much. And if you can please leave the floor to Smart Water Meter team. You're up next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, we are DropSite and we're in the call.
Hello everyone.
Hi there, please go ahead.
All right. DropSite helps users save water and money. We offer a solution that provides visibility and control of your household and business water used in real time. DropSite solves an important problem: the dangerous misuse of our most valuable resource. California is facing unprecedented drought conditions and citizens are ordered mandatory restrictions. How can someone reduce consumption simply and effectively without visibility into their water use? Today, your typical water utility utilizes 19th century technology, which is manually read by visiting premises every 2 to 6 months. Utilities have little or no incentive to upgrade. Our solution is DropSite, a smart water meter. Our solution consists of a digital water flow meter that is connected to the cloud via an IoT gateway. You access the analyzed data in the form of personalized, actionable insights, greatly increasing visibility and water consumption. You get alerts for possible leaks and remotely shut off water supply. The key benefits of DropSite are: it helps you save water and reduce environmental footprint. The US today has the highest per capita consumption of water. With an average saving of $23 per month, it pays for itself in under a year. It helps you identify single point of flow, and the data set enables identification of complex usage trends. Our offering includes 2 products, DropSite and the more advanced DropSite Plus. DropSite, you buy it, you clamp it on, and you use it. The mobile app tracks usage and provides insights to save water. Or the DropSite Plus, the same insights as DropSite, but you buy it and we install it. It powers itself. You can remotely shut off the water flow when a leak is detected. The market opportunity for this is here. It's big and it's growing. By 2020, global investments in smart water technologies will equal $16.3 billion, of which analysts predict $4.2 billion will be invested in smart water meters. Our initial target is California, where state regulations today mandate 25% water restrictions. Our target market is 11% of California homes, or 1.5 million smart water meters, with a projected revenue of $200 million. Revenue is generated through the sale of DropSite hardware, as well as subscription and data services. Our primary customers are homeowners and apartment and condo managers and property management companies and businesses. Expected margins are 45% on the hardware and 80% on the B2B software services.
For both DropSite and DropSite Plus, direct sales are offered through our online store. DropSite Plus will additionally be distributed through wholesalers, distributors, and retailers. Servicing will be made easy. Customers may schedule an appointment with a service partner directly from the DropSite webpage or our mobile app. Keeping the financial, technical, and legal risks for the venture close in mind, we developed the following business plan. Our plan is to start funding with $41,000 from angel investment and personal savings. With this money, we'll build software mock-ups and proof-of-concept hardware that will inspire a crowdfunding audience. Roughly 170 unit pre-orders will be sufficient to kickstart the venture, but with more crowdfunding support, we'll be able to enter the market and grow our business faster and with less additional investment. Here we show a potential detailed view of our market entrance and revenue plans. Following a successful Kickstarter campaign, we are looking for an additional $1.2 million in investment. This will allow us to build the team that will keep our technology competitive and execute on a marketing strategy that we believe will get us to 0.5% penetration of the California market by the end of 2020. This will result in upwards of $15 million in revenues and a repeatable, sustainable business model with plenty of room for expansion. During the crowdfunding stage, our marketing efforts will be social media centric. We hope to produce marketing materials that will spread organically and give our funding campaign a grassroots feel. Moving forward, we will expand our expenditures on conventional advertising. Our aim is to capitalize on California's techno-environmentalist culture by demonstrating our system's ability to save water and prevent damage for most users. Regarding partnerships, we want to engage small water utilities to run pilot programs and have several verbal agreements in place. We plan to take full advantage of California's and U.S. energy efficiency incentives, and by partnering with firms who specialize in helping homeowners purchase and install incentive-compliant products, with certifications like WaterSense. Thank you all for hearing our pitch. Our team brings together mechanical, electrical, software, and smart grid experience. Everyone uses water, and we're excited to help shape the way that households monitor their consumption.
Cool. Thank you very much. And I appreciate being on time. Naguib, the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, first of all, guys, thank you very much. That's like this is on par with many of the pitches that I'm used to seeing. So I think that's pretty cool for what it's worth. Just like to be very frank, like good job. But do you guys have more data around specifically the hardware? Have you guys already prototyped them? Like what stage in product development are you?
So we're in the prototyping stage. Alex, who's working on the initial prototype right now, he can answer details of that. Alexa, are you muted? I think you're muted.
Alex got a workshop behind him.
Yes. Alex, unmute yourself.
Well, yeah, because I guess Alex is on mute. The answer to that is that we don't have a lot of prototyping that we've done. And we're looking forward to getting some wireless hardware.
I don't know if you can hear me though. Can you hear me, guys?
Hear you, Alex.
Yes, Alex, please go ahead.
Alex, unmute yourself.
I am not on mute.
Yes, go ahead. You're good now.
The answer to that is that we don't have a lot of prototyping that we've done.
I'll show you stuff.
Wireless
I don't know if you can hear me though. Can you hear me, guys?
Hear you, Alex.
Yes, Alex, please go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Unmute yourself.
I am not on mute.
Yes, go ahead.
The answer to that is that we don't have a lot of prototyping that.
Okay, I think we had a hell of a lag. Hey, Alex, can you hear me? Yes? No? Probably still a lot of lag.
Is that any better?
Okay, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I can't hear what you're saying though for some reason. That's why I had left the YouTube one open. Anyway, so in terms of the prototyping, we're currently working on the DropSite Plus product because we believe it is harder to implement, and we're using a micro hydro turbine. So we generate power through the flow of water so that we make no assumption about power availability at the installation point. And then we charge an onboard battery and have a voltage regulator for a steady circuit. So that then powers an electric solenoid valve that can be used to remotely shut off your water supply. For example, if you have this installed in your summer house and you get a leak alert and you're in a different city, you typically don't want to return back on the spot because you were alerted. Does that answer your question?
It adds color, but I'm just trying to get a gauge of where specific are you guys with, in the manufacturing process. I had a friend actually who went through the same program that you guys are going through, but in Chuck Eesley's.
Unfortunately, I cannot hear what you're saying.
I'm sorry. I'm saying that I have a friend who started a Kickstarter in the hardware space, and one of the issues he had was there was a huge delta between what he thought it would take to manufacture a physical product and the quality around it, and what he laid out as a plan. So I'm just curious where you guys are at with your product development.
Yes, we are definitely more confident on the software side of things. Myself, I participate on my day job on various IoT standard protocols. So I'm very familiar with real-time data delivery and streaming analytics. In terms of the hardware, we're trying to use off-the-shelf components for manufacturers that already enjoy discounts at scale before trying to implement our own PCBs. And typically we will be seeking the advice of some incubator specializing in hardware startups.
So, and again, this is you guys, I'm not just saying this, you guys were really on point. I really enjoyed following you on, but you guys don't have a prototype on the hardware side as of now.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes sense here. That's for many hardware startups, I've seen them raise rounds without actually having a prototype. So that shouldn't be discouraging at all.
We actually already have, as the other guys mentioned, some agreements with 2 small water utilities to perform pilots, and we plan to do that with the prototype units.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very much, Chuck. Chuck, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm most concerned about the market risk. I'd be curious to understand better about the existing agreements that you have with the water utilities. And is it the case that who's the ultimate customer? Are you selling to water utilities or are you selling to the individual customers? And if it's the individual customers, do you have evidence that people are actually willing to buy this and install it? Because from my understanding, most of the residential water usage comes from watering lawns and filling swimming pools, and it's unclear to me that people are going to be willing to pay for monitoring their water usage and actually cut back on watering their lawns and filling up their swimming pools.
Yes, so what we have done during our customer validation experiments, we actually went to some retail stores in California, and we stood by the corridor of the smart irrigation units because there aren't any units for us yet, and we started interviewing customers, and that seemed to give us enough feedback and motivation to keep going. We have then discovered that the average cost of a leak is in the range of $3,000, and you can protect yourself through an insurance policy that is resold by the water utilities. That costs typically $5 a month to cover any leaks from the water meter to your house. However, they can prove, if they can prove negligence on behalf of the homeowner, like you left the tap open and you left the house, then they won't cover you. So we think that we can repurpose that insurance cost, and we have data that indicates that the really minor leaks, like failing faucets or toilets, having small drops of water that you lose without realizing, can actually end up being 10% of your bill. So we've made some calculation in our marketing messages that this would we could reduce their bill on average $23 a month, which is why we say it pays itself in a year. Does that answer the question? I know I could say more, but maybe there are other questions as well.
That's great, and I think Paulo, if you have any comments, and guys, Taja, please, Taja, could you please leave the channel? I think your team presented a while back, and we need to let in more people from the next team.
Okay, so just to add to Alex's answer on who the end customer is, so we have two products. One is an easy install clamp-on device, which is targeted more towards the end home user, and then if they wanted the additional, pure remote shut-off capability and remote control on the water, then you have the inline installation model. So in addition to the pilot programs that Alex mentioned, we also talked to potential distributors here in California. So California has a lot of programs that allow homeowners to pay for upgrades for water and energy efficiency over a period of time using their home equity. So there are existing programs that you can be part of once you're an authorized provider or an authorized device. So we have talked to consultants over here, and we've engaged with cities on being able to distribute this and as part of a pilot program in California as well.
Lastly, I just emphasize the point that was mentioned briefly in the slides, which is that in the nominal case, if we're able to save $23 per month, then the price break for this product is under a year, and then after that, it's just savings.
Cool. Any last thoughts? 1 minute left. 1 minute left.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be a Kickstart supporter. So,
all right.
I'm excited about that.
Well, excited to hear that from you.
It's good that you guys are actually solving real problems, as opposed to just building another social app. So.
Cool. There's always a social element to everything, but yeah, this is a social.
I have actually a last comment. We already discussed about it the last time because you were actually with us in the first hangout we organized. As you may know, I mean, water is an extremely cheap commodity in a lot of countries, especially, for example, in France, perhaps in the USA. So do you have some pedagogical element how to educate people to care about something they don't care at all for the moment,
I think that is part of a wider education project, right? Mm-hmm. So water is, as I mentioned in the past, water is an issue in both ways. There are places where water is an issue because of floods and landslides and etc. And then there are other places where it's more of droughts and lack of water issues. And then there's a whole issue of climate change and other factors impacting it as well. But just like recycling or other green energy saving, energy efficiency, we have to educate people to conserve water, and that is that's a wider message on top of that we need to propagate as part of our market.
All right. Thank you very much for a great presentation, and the floor to DTank.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thanks for putting this course together. We learned a lot.
Sure.
Slides posted on the Kickstarter.
Okay, Samir, are you going to present the slide? If you could please load your pitch deck.
Okay.
Okay, yep, we say it. Please go ahead.
So it's visible now? Presenting?
It was, now it's loading. I guess it should show in just a sec. It looks like it's about to pop up. Yep, there it is. All right, please go ahead.
Presenting DTank. Okay. A digital think tank where policy moves from idea to systemic action. Hello all, I'm Samira, an international activist and a member of DTank team. I've spent so many hours holding signs at marches to protest a policy on a societal issue, but my voice never gets heard. So it's frustrating to see that more people are not involved to shape and influence policies that impact our society and environment. Policy deals with public issues, but in practice, it remains in the hands of the powerful few. Yet everyday people, like you and me, want to be heard, whether it's through public rallies or even through public shoe demonstrations. People want their voices to matter on important issues relating to society and environment. Contributing and shaping policy is where your voice can really make a difference. Unfortunately, policies are complex for everyday people. Finding a way to contribute to policy making is also another issue. Consequently, policies are perceived as biased, only meeting the agenda of very few. This leads to a lack of policy adoption, then it becomes a challenge for institutional funders and consultants to measure the systemic and comprehensive impact of a policy. Do you know that a third of a multi-million funded policy reports do not even get read at World Bank? Solutions for society's benefit are buried in documents that do not get downloaded. This is a clear example of a lack of a policy adoption. There must be a better way, where policy is adopted and represents all voices so that a policy change is beneficial to all. Mila?
Mila, you are muted. Unmute yourself, Mila, please.
Hello.
That's cool.
Hi.
That's working.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, I'm Mila, founder of DTank. Yes, there is a better way by creating a digital think tank where policy can move from idea to action that is simple, impactful, and measurable for all. And we have a secret sauce, a platform that enables real-time policy making, interactive engagement with all stakeholders. Our solution allows you to contribute, shape, and advocate policies for the good of society and environment. Our product enables you to debate, investigate, and measure policy impact supported by an artificially intelligent, multi-language, and API-enabled system to enhance real-time contribution for online and offline policy activities. Why would this solution be best delivered by our team? Our team has a good balance of relevant expertise needed to deliver the solution in the policy-making space, and most importantly, has access to influential context via myself as founder and our esteemed advisory board and mentors. Our initial target customers and users are NGOs and their policy project stakeholders, civil societies, and consultants. This market size is large enough to sustain the company well into the future. Also, at present, there is no direct competition in the think tank industry that provides a digital, artificially intelligent, and comprehensive solution. Nevertheless, we remain conservative with our target market figures. Our advisory board's contacts and personal connections give us access to NGO funders at senior levels. NGOs' policy projects give us direct access to all policy stakeholders, resulting in low acquisition costs. Also, working with NGOs allows for long-term partnerships and funding, in which brings a long lifetime customer value. Customer retention will form our main sales costs. We have two revenue streams, non-profit and for-profit. At conservative estimates, the annual nonprofit revenue is $5 million for 10 projects with 10,000 participants. And for profit side, it is $4.6 million total for premium and bespoke service fees based on 74% of total participants per project. Having completed 10 customer interviews, 3 NGOs are interested in funding us. Next step is to gain NGO funding and achieve problem solution fit in year 1. Our scaling strategy is to build and scale by widening our markets and adding new products, aided by strong partners in distribution. We aim to bootstrap until the company becomes stable through repeatable sales and systemized operational process. Over to you, Samira. Hello?
Yep. I can hear you. Samira is muted.
Samira, you're muted.
And you have a minute left.
Okay, Samira? Okay, I'll just read for Samira. So the MVP development will be around 3 to 6 months to then pilot a 6-month NGO project consisting of 1,000 people, of staff and stakeholders. Therefore, our funding request is for $500,000 for MVP and pilot project. Currently, 3 different NGOs are interested in funding DTank. We invite you to make a difference in the world. If you are interested, please contact us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I especially like the nuance understanding between, product, solution fit and product market fit. I think, that's a healthy insight to have when you start off on a company. One thing I just wanted to ask is I didn't really understand, what does the product do? And I'm not trying to be discouraging by asking, but you did mention that it's, it helps, and there's a layer of AI and helps all of these stakeholders, but I still don't get it. And I think that's something that, irrespective, going back to points made earlier, should have been very, clear to us, or at least clear to me in a presentation.
Sure.
Yeah, I had the exact same confusion.
Sure. So the product itself is an online and offline platform that allows policy stakeholders, so including the NGO, who is our initial target customers, and their users, which usually could be stakeholders of civil societies, civilians, consultants, NGO field staff, to basically interact online as well as offline and contribute to shaping the policy, which right now that it doesn't exist in any think tank. And that is one of the sort of uniqueness of that. And the interactiveness is also supported by real-time interactive visuals, information of how the policy is being shaped throughout, from proposal to actually research to then to actually advocating that research and seeing scenarios of what that policy could impact in real world time. And that can be done through artificial intelligence, data science, and then the offline bit is where you have some things like the SMS and tablets that can be offline. So it's almost near real time also, and there's any facility at the moment or platform that allows for real time. And I'll give Samira, can you unmute yourself? Samira, can you unmute? To give, because Samira herself has done this work in policy, so she knows in terms of all the work that's available out there is the solution is not out there at the moment. So what we're offering is a platform that is online primarily, but there's an offline component to it that then can collect all the data into the platform, collect all of that data to then give better intelligence with regards to policy, and that people can actually interact in shaping that policy and influencing that policy.
I know this is a bit early for me to ask that question, but I'm trying to understand intuitively, if there was one feature that NGOs would want, what would that one feature be? Would it be the ability to talk to other NGOs? Would it be the ability to visualize the data? What would be that one feature which would get people onto your platform if forced to answer? I understand that it's a combination and it's comprehensive.
For the NGOs themselves, because it's a multi-sided business model, is actually the measuring the impact in real time, because they have funders, and being able to come to the platform, they're able to monitor the actual information of the progression of the project. And people are most funders, NGOs are funded, and there are simulations of policies that actually allows them to also see whether the policy that they're funding to the NGO will actually show up.
Could you give us like a very vivid use case? I'm just trying to say hey, this is an NGO, they have $2 million on the budget, they give a $650K grant to, I don't know, to Argentina or Brazil to combat the Zika virus, and then on your platform they get to see on a week-to-week basis the decline of Zika virus. Like, how are you guys going to get that information? Can you just draw me a single use case?
Yeah, so a single use case would be, let's say, the NGO of, this is actually real. We are talking to an NGO who is interested in this platform, and it's a coalition of human trafficking. And so there's policies that are relating to human trafficking. So let's say this particular NGO is an international NGO that is being funded for that at the moment. And if there is a funder, one of their big institutional funders, goes online, clicks the button where it says measure impact, it can see the measurement of the progression of that policy, where it's at, and it could also look at different complex scenarios of the impact of that policy. Hence, the actual international NGO can go back to their funder, like Rockefeller Foundation, and say, look, we still need some more money. I know this is an impact that still lasts 3 years, which usually happens. They can only publish impacts 3 years later, right? So this is in real time. So if they needed additional funding, they could go back and ask for that, because it's in real time. Rockefeller Foundation can come on our platform and actually see the data of that progression of the policy and the impact, the scenario impacts of that policy.
Got it. Thank you.
Paulo, do you have any thoughts?
Sorry?
I was asking Paulo, the mentor, if he had any thoughts and wanted to jump in and ask some questions.
Yeah, just adding to what was said. Okay, what I would suggest is that the first slide on the presentation on the page needs always to hit what the startup is all about, what it is that you are doing, and it needs to be it needs to stress out the real deep difference and value of the startup. Then we can go back and explain why there is a problem, detail more the solution, and so on. But the first one needs to catch our attention and drive the whole process.
Yeah, thank you. We'll take that on board. Thank you.
Chuck, any thoughts?
Yeah, I would say in any startup, focus is really important. And I think you did a good job of laying out a big, inspiring vision. And it sounds like you have a vision for ultimately a product that is, very comprehensive and multi-sided. But I think the response, both to Naguib and the 500,000 that you were talking about for the pilot, suggests to me that you're not sufficiently focused at the early stage. So there was some discussion of, interaction in the policy-making process, and then there was some discussion of real-time transparency in data and policy evaluation. And each of those, could be a startup in and of itself. And so I would say, it sounds like you've got a few potential funders, and you're trying to keep it kind of broad enough that depending on who funds it, you could do this or you could do that. But I think you're likely to have a lot more success if you really narrow it down to one very specific problem that one very specific stakeholder has, with one very specific feature that you can build for a lot less money, as a much more likely approach.
Actually,
the other thing I was going to just mention briefly is a colleague of mine in the department here at Stanford, Ashish Goel, has an interesting project called the Stanford Crowdsourced Democracy team. So you might take a look at their website. They're trying to implement something where constituents can vote on very specific aspects of policies. And so they've actually made some progress and been able to present it at the White House and other places. So that may be of interest.
Actually, we have a letter of intent already from one.
Oh, that's great.
So a lot of this is difficult, and that was one of our issue, was how to present it that everyday people can understand. Because when we actually presented it to the NGOs themselves, they understood it, and actually some of these features that you talk about were actually the ones that were what the actual feedback we got from our customer interviews. So when we actually co-created the paper prototype, they said that's exactly what we need. Can we have it yesterday?
Oh, that's great. That's great. I mean, if you're getting that kind of feedback, then it sounds like you're on the right track.
Well, we have 3 NGOs, and one has already given a letter of intent, and one of them is World Bank.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Very good. Okay. Yeah, those things should come across more clearly in the presentation then.
And I'm sorry, because it was really hard to understand how to deliver it in such a way that everyday people can understand. But when we're talking to the actual people who are in that space, they understood it much better than we could have done it in everyday. And I think that's our challenge when we move into the real for-profit space for civilians, public space for customers, for our subscription fees, is how can we then introduce that, but hoping to the pilot and working and co-creating the solution with our NGOs that we will be able to move into a space where we can then present in a better light that makes it very clear as what we are delivering.
Yeah, just quickly, I know we're running on time, just quickly jump in. An extension of what Dr. Eesley mentioned that pertains in a real-life example with us is that we were solving a very focused problem with MathCrunch, students struggling with math homework. They take a picture within 1 minute, we connect them with a professional tutor. Very simple. We started getting, over the past 2 years, every day, 3-4% of all our requests are physics and chemistry. Now, it's so similar. It's the same app, same chat, just change the name. But for 2 years, we've wanted to do that, but our investors have been telling us, no, wait, have focus. So this is a very interesting example where you have your customers asking you for something where our investors and us as a company is not fulfilling it until we really hone in exactly what is the critical, the distribution, the consistency, and understanding the messaging. So since you guys definitely have great progress and compared to many early stage startups, the fact that you guys are interacting and have LOIs, signed up, that's really important. One thing that I'm always worried about is that the concept of feature creep. If you ever ask a customer, what do you want? They'll never say, I don't want anything, you're perfect. They'll always say, well, I want it to be cheaper, and I want this, and I want that, and I want that. And in many ways, it's important sometimes to just know to set certain guardrails. And I think that was, an insight that had we a year ago added physics and chemistry, the company wouldn't exist today because we'd have lost focus and we'd have died. So just an interesting thought.
Well, the focus is...
Thank you, everybody. We got another one. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to our mentors too.
Okay, Josh, you're on. Last team, please. Go ahead. Last presentation for today.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm here to talk to you. My name is Joshua Gilmer. I'm presenting for Team WAX, and WAX means to grow, and that is what our app is all about. So we want to create an app that lets young adults create more meaningful relationships and grow themselves in a game that rewards each other for watching, reading, listening to each other's favorite movies, songs, books. So it's all about digesting entertainment media, but it's about being able to grow in a one-on-one, one-to-one relationship. And so the name of the game is WAX, and it's solving several problems. One is just what to do with your recreational time. So we've seen time and again in our market survey where people said that they spend more time searching for something to watch on Netflix or Hulu or one of their streaming services as they do actually watching it. So they don't know what to watch, whereas they have friends that tell them, hey, there's this show, I want you to check it out, and they never do. And so the idea is to foster friendship, cultivate that by, connecting with your friends on the content that means something to them. And then it's what to do with your recreational time. And we've seen that 3 out of 4 people state that they base their identity, at least some part of it, in the shows that they like and watch, and the music that they listen to, the bands that are important to them. And we've also seen that 9 out of 10 people state that they feel a lot closer to a person when they have both watched the same movie or read the same book and talk about it. And so that's what we're doing for our end users. For our clients, we see those being media publishers, and those also being media streaming services like Netflix, not like Hulu or HBO now. And so what we want to give them is a connection to people that are great evangelists for their content, people that get other people to watch it. And then we want to let them see, like a viral coefficient for their fans to know, hey, this isn't somebody who just watches our show. There's somebody that spreads it for us. How can we incentivize them? How can we put our ads in front of them and make sure they're still watching, make sure they're still engaging with our content? And for media streaming services, it's about giving them good shelf presentation within our app. So if you go into a grocery store, they pay for that premium shelf space where they're at eye level. The same thing would be happening in our app where, somebody shares a movie that they want you to watch, and then you can see all the people that it streams on. It streams on Hulu, it streams on Netflix, it streams on HBO, and, the top spot is going to be important. It's going to be the one that people connect with. And so we want to share that opportunity with the media streamers to be able to see that opportunity and be able to put their brand next to content as people are trying to stream it, or even click through the app and go straight into Netflix, or click through the app and go straight into Crackle or whatever it is, YouTube, if it's music, Spotify or Pandora. And so, if I wanted to share a movie with somebody, we've got a Venn diagram of my profile and the other person's profile, and you can see in the middle where it overlaps, there's a little bit of green, and we like to think of that as a leaf. And a leaf gets added to a tree, and the more leaves you have, the bigger the tree gets. It's just a visual representation of you connecting with another individual. The other thing we want to do is connect with young professionals. We feel like people, as they get busy in life, it becomes harder to connect with people as you get a job and you go out from college, whereas most social networks start with college-age people. This one would be great after college, after you're starting to get that disconnect from people that used to matter to you because you have a family life now and a home life and a job, a career. And then the thing we want to do is develop partnerships with streaming services such as Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, the list goes on. A potential exit strategy could be with any one of those media streamers who are trying to get up an edge on their competition. And we want to spread to a lot of different platforms too, Samsung Smart TVs, Xbox One, Sony PlayStation. We want to be able to give somebody that list, that to-do list that they have, that curated content list from the people that they know. And we're going to start small. We're going to start by trying to get about 150 users onboarded into our app, and we're currently building the MVC for it. And we just want to make a streamlined, seamless user experience for those first 150 users to make sure that we're on the right track as far as creating something that can be used. So year one is about bringing the product to market, and we're trying to do that on our own dime and on our own time. And potential investors could speed up the process and expedite it and help give us focus. But we're trying to do this with people that are just passionate about the idea initially. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Naguib, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, guys. You know, MathCrunch is a mobile app, so I really appreciate other mobile apps in the space. It's always cool to see that. I really liked, you know, how you started off the presentation. That really resonated. You know, not enough products are out there that help or focus on making people grow in a positive way. So that's pretty great. Just two quick things. The first is that I do think your overarching mentality of finding first 150 users and building of that makes complete sense. I think that you guys should, you know, in the mobile space, things move so fast that it's best just to push something out and then use constant customer development and let the app, you know, grow from there. And don't be too attached to any of your ideas. The second thing, which is something that we did, which is very counterintuitive, is we actually removed the sign-up flow. This is just a very specific piece of, you know, advice. You know, sign-up flows are friction, and you'll see a drop-off. The average drop-off in the consumer space is like 76%, so people would download the app and actually register. So you really are fighting for every single percent. So early on, when we're still testing, just some, you know, thing that we did for 6 months, we didn't even have a sign-up flow. You just go in, we didn't know who you are, but we tried to just take the the bare minimum of what we need to make your experience work to test our hypothesis. And since you guys have that bootstrap mentality, I think that should apply even with your product development. Just two quick points.
Thank you. Paulo or Chuck, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, hi. First, I want to ask Joshua if he could share with the rest of us how we create his presentation, because it was different from the other folks. The other folks they ran the PowerPoint in the background, and here we had his face and then a little demo on the side.
Yeah, that's. I am screen sharing on a second screen, and I'm using OBS software. That's Open Broadcast System. It's an open source broadcaster that allows you to use layers, and you know, I've got this little window over here that has the app, so you can kind of see, and I can click on and show you some of the screenshots of the app. And so it's just OBS is the acronym. And I think it stands for Open Broadcast Software.
Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks pretty cool. What I would like to have seen would be a little bit more presentation on side of the presentation, or maybe it didn't come across on my side, but I only saw 2 screens. The other question is, how far have you run experiments to get feedback from people about the project?
Yeah, we've run this market validation survey. It's a 6-part survey. It's got a lot of questions on it, and it gets kind of personal. It asks, you know, what role does media play in your relationships? And so it gets people thinking about, you know, what that role is, either, you know, in a friendship, in a romantic setting, you know, and also if this product were to go to market, you know, how inclined would you be to use it? And so it's been very helpful in one, helping us narrow our target market, and two, to think about the features that people would like to see in a game like this. What kind of metrics would be important to them in engaging their own personal growth?
Okay, so this turns out like the circles on Google Plus, getting videos or music.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Okay, on Google Plus, there is this circles feature where we can say, okay, I want to share this with this group of people or that group of people. Is this the same kind of approach, but for sharing reference to movies, music, etc.?
Oh, good question. Very good question. So this is a little bit different in the fact that, one, it focuses on one-to-one relationships. And so you're going to get to see how a specific friend is, whether or not they're taking your recommendations, you know, if they're actually going out and watching the YouTube video, listening to the song that you sent them. So it's one-to-one, and you get to see that friendship grow and visually and in a game. And so also you have your own metrics, which just show, you know, personally how you're growing. You know, we want to be able to say, okay, here's something that was recommended that was outside of your entire network of friends. Only one person has actually watched it. It's outside of your wheelhouse, but you're trying it. So you kind of reward somebody for going way outside of their comfort zone and trying something new. And so it's not as much about just liking something, because liking something is not a very good metric. It's really about sharing content, and it's not about spamming people. It's about it coming from someone that is a close friend or family member.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Chuck?
Yeah, very nice job on the presentation, Joshua. I enjoyed it. I've had a couple of student teams in E145 here at Stanford over the years do various iterations on this idea of kind of shared movie watching or more social kind of sharing movies or sharing music with friends. You know, I agree with Naguib's comment that, you know, a lot of this, I think, is going to come down to the execution. And I think the faster that you can get it out there into the hands of users and, you know, keep iterating on the user interface to keep making the sign-up process more smooth and the sharing process more smooth, I think that's going to be really key. I think, you know, going back to my earlier theme of focus, kind of thinking ahead a little bit to the business model, you know, I think if there's a clear type of content or site that is getting a lot of sharing, then you might want to focus on that, because ultimately, if you can, you know, send a lot of people to Netflix or send a lot of people to, you know, Apple Music, then, you know, if you can get that number up as high as possible, then you have a case to go to their business development people and say, hey, you know, let's do some kind of partnership, because we're sending you a lot of leads, and, you know, some percentage of those leads are converting into new users. And if that's spread across all of those sites that you mentioned, and each one you're you know, sending this minuscule fraction, then it's a much harder case to make to them, as opposed to, you know, if you're sending, I don't know, X number of people to Netflix every day, and some percentage are signing up, then it's fairly easy to calculate, okay, how much is your app worth to Netflix, and much easier to strike a deal.
Yeah.
But I think that's, you know, that's thinking ahead a little bit. Like, you want to first, you know, just get the basic app out there and get people using it, get the viral coefficient up as much as possible. But thinking ahead a little bit, you know, I think ultimately in terms of the business model, that's, I think, where you want to be headed.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll make sure we have good metrics, you know, that we measure links, or give Netflix or other people a way to see some kind of a query string variable, something on the end of the link that lets them know, hey, where are all these leads coming from?
Cool. I think time is up. It was a great presentation, and it was the last one for today. So, Yoni, do you have some friendly remark for us?
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, I have a last tiny remark actually for the team. You mentioned for client HBO, Netflix, this kind of you know, very popular TV channels, but they are already, you know, collectively consumed. People they used to go to discussion board and socially consume this kind of content and perhaps boost the added value of your platform, especially in terms of, the usual problem with this platform is how to gain enough critical mass. And the second little point is about, what is called it's always been my philosophical question, but what is called the echo chamber phenomenon, if I'm like recommended content that my friend who tends to be, similar to me, same age range, thing like that, it may be boring in the end, So how to foster true discovery, how to foster this kind of serendipity and curiosity, and not having a recommendation-driven cultural, consumerism. If you have some insight about this.
Well, I think as far as growing, we want to grow naturally. We don't want to put a lot of marketing dollars out there initially. We do want to start with about 150 users, and those users will be friends and family members, people that we trust not to blast with negative reviews on an app store or anything like that, and that can help us shore up the user experience and make it more enjoyable. And then, of course, the end goal is to get a large number of users, a large number of eyeballs on it. And I think a lot of that's going to be about community management and having a good community manager that makes it fun. I think Imager, Reddit's image sharing website, does a good job of directing the community and making everything seem like a fun, cohesive user experience. And so absolutely, I mean, those 150 users, if we were on top of something, if we're doing a great experience, then Metcalfe's law, the echo chamber that you mentioned, that effect will happen naturally. And that's how we want to approach it. We want it to happen naturally.
Thanks.
Cool. I think we're done. Any last thoughts? And last thoughts in 3, last thoughts in 2, last thoughts in 1. Done.
Oh la la.
Yoni, floor is up to you for any last words to close us off.
Yeah, I want to congratulate Chuck for mastering over time. It's awesome, and thanks a lot for Chuck, for Paulo, for Naguib. Wonderful insight. We had a lot of diversity tonight. We had like I think even corporate social responsibility startup. It's the first time I see that. I'm impressed. we have music startup. We have sharing economy startup. A lot of diversity. We hope it was insightful to you, for you the participants, but also for the viewers. And yeah, I will share some things actually. Full screen. So we are having our next session of Technology Entrepreneurship Part 1, beginning of April. Do you see my screen here?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so it's on NovoEd, starting 4th of April. And we will update the content. We're actually updating it, and we have Twitter chat. We have many activities. We'll have another round of live hangouts with the top 5 teams. We may have some other surprise for you. And don't hesitate also to follow us. We have a Twitter account, and we have also a hashtag. So hashtag Stanford TE145. That's all. And thanks a lot, guys, for your energy, your commitment, your engagement, and your project. If you have some other comments, Chuck or Spike or Paulo.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, Yoni, Paulo, and Naguib. I think to the participants, congrats to the 5 teams, and to everyone else, I hope if you've learned something from all of this, please pass it along, and please let others know about the course, and come back and mentor the next batch, and please keep sharing this knowledge about entrepreneurship and technology. Thank you all.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of the day, night, wherever you are, in whichever time zone. Take good care.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I want to state again, you guys have been great throughout the whole program.
Bye-bye.
Bye.